Hey guys, it's Riku Keyblade Master, and today I've got a list that's a bit of a doozy. I have a top 10 for you guys on things that video game developers either should not do or went wrong by doing. Now, as a disclaimer, I generally find these things very annoying and they shouldn't do these things in my opinion, but as always, if you do like these things, then more power to you. Meaning, if you don't like what I'm about to say in this list, that's fine. But just don't be a hater in the comments section, please. I get enough haters already. I don't need a bunch more for reasons I can't exactly explain because I don't know what I'm doing to tick you off. But anyways, let's kick this list off at number 10. Now, number 10 for me has to do with characters. Okay. Now, literally, you can literally tell whether the characters are likable or not through their personality. What I've seen happen, mostly in, stuff like Call of Duty, which I understand because it is not a story-driven game. But I've seen characters that are dull as shit. And they are mostly the characters that are pretty goddamn useless. Okay, I understand that if it's sort of like an online game, but if you are not playing online and you're just playing with random AI and you get a team with literally shitty AI, useless characters, which I will talk about that in a second. Actually, at some point on this list I will talk about that, but I'm saying that you cannot make a character, and I don't care if it's just a shooting game. I don't care if it's just a racing game with no story. You cannot give them a horrible prowess. You cannot make them dull. There's no point in doing that. You cannot make them dull as shit. Faceless Slender Man has more personality than some characters I've seen. And, oh boy, I could go on and on and on about dull characters that I've seen, but that would just take up a lot of time. And if you guys know what I'm talking about by dull characters, then you know who I'm talking about. Number 9 would have to go to online multiplayer. Now, I like online multiplayer as much as the next person, but if you, for example, Kingdom Hearts 358 by 2, Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2 had online multiplayer, but you had to be within range of somebody else. Okay? Now, I get that in some sort of perspectives, but I've seen games, let's go back to Call of Duty. I've seen games like that handle online multiplayer way better than Days did. I'm not even kidding. I would try to connect with somebody in the hollow missions mode, and I'm not in range of anyone. Which means I'm tackling the missions on my own without a partner. You have got to widen your ranges when it comes to online multiplayer. Especially on missions that are way more easier with multiplayer aspects. Like Birth by Sleep, for instance. They had a good multiplayer format as well. But, again, I tried and apparently was not in range of someone. And I ended up having to tackle the missions on my own, which is completely stupid on the game developer's part. And yes, I should also mention, no game developers are safe from being mentioned on this list. So, fix your online multiplayer status. Just like what I said with number 10 being, you're not going to succeed making a character dull as fuck. You're also not going to succeed in making online multiplayer dull as fuck. Okay, so with those two out of the way, let's move on to topic number 8. Number 8 has to be, let's just say, in terms of gameplay. Alright? More specifically, camera control. For instance, I've seen games that will let you manually, control the camera, and I've seen games that will control the camera on its own. Okay? Like, say, I've played games like Enter the Matrix for GameCube, and their camera angles are just fine. They actually move with the character you're playing as. Now, there will be times when I'm playing some other game, like for example Kingdom Hearts 1, the camera will be stuck. Like, legit stuck, or move to a completely different angle that screws you over. Meaning you have no camera control, and even when you do have camera control, even if you did, you really don't have control. Either way, the camera's just controlling itself. So yeah, camera controls takes the number 8 spot. Number 7 is another gameplay mechanic that I was introduced to. That was okay at some points, but in some situations, bad. Okay, no, I take that back. It's way fucking worse. Turn-based combat systems. Okay, you take a turn, your partner takes a turn. Say you have like 3 or 4 people on your team, and there are more enemies than there are players on your team. So, yeah, That's a bitch to handle, especially since the the AI has been known to take more turns than one. Literally, I am not even kidding. The same AI will take 3 turns before giving you a chance to go. And those 3 turns, depending on how strong that particular enemy is, which move they use, and when they use it can be entirely at random. I am not even kidding. Like, my friend and I, we got through this one battle in like Final Fantasy X when we were fighting the ship thing. It took more turns than she got to take. That was a pain in the butt, a bad judgment on their part. They really need to fix that and really just do away with the turn-based system altogether, honestly, because it's... If you like turn-based combat, that's fine, but there are a lot of people that I've personally talked to that are just like, ditch the turn-based combat system. So yeah, turn-based combat takes the number 7 spot. The number 6 spot, we're going towards basically we're going towards like a like how useless a weapon can be. Like, I'm not even kidding. There can be weapons that are strong as hell when it comes to attacking. Like, say, there was this one gun in Battlefield, I think it was, that one of my brothers used. They said it was a strong shot, but it's very, very, very slow. Like, even though it's a strong shot, I would not recommend you using it. That type of deal. Okay, and yes, this list will be mostly based on gameplay mechanics, but just bear with me here. So, a weapon that's strong as hell, but takes a long time to use, or sometimes it's not even usable at all, even though you have that particular, let's just say, gun in your hand. If you have that particular weapon or gun in your hand and you can't use it, why keep it? I mean, yes, some of you will argue, it's the strongest one. Yeah, but can you use it? No. Exactly. So, making strong weapons, but making them very hard to control, takes spot number 6. We're getting down the wire. That's half the list done already. Number 5 is most definitely gonna have to be more along the lines of the gameplay mechanic that allows you to, like, take Fable, for instance, where you're you're faced with making a choice and you have to choose. But either way, even if it was your choice, the same outcome happens no matter what you choose. Okay? Now, I am not even kidding. I have a little brother that plays Fable, and he says that mechanic is fine in some situations, but in other situations, yeah, no, it's not. And I don't blame some people for hating on that series. I'm not sure if it's for that particular thing, but I don't blame some people for hating on it. Because that is definitely one of the things that tends to drag games down is, you know, you give us a slot where it's our choice, but the same outcome happens no matter what we choose. That is a pain in the ass. Now, for those of you that are still wondering, like, oh, it's just a choice, I get that. But if it's a choice that you choose that drags the same story plots along, you want to try to get a choice that's gonna make things better for the people that you're choosing for. However, in Fable's circumstances, I think my little brother Antonio was playing the first one. I think it was the first one. Anyway, it was one of those things where, like, either way, someone was gonna die. Okay? And I bet you even if my little brother chose the citizens to die over the other chick, the same thing would have happened. Wanna know why? I've seen that happen on somebody else's playthrough. Yeah, I've seen that happen. So, there was really no point in making a choice. So, what I'm trying to say is, you make one choice, one thing happens. You make another choice, a different outcome should appear. Do not have the player choose only to have the same outcome happen either way. It shouldn't work like that. And in reality, I don't know what they were thinking when they put that mechanic in that game. And it's not just Fable that faces the same problem. I've played other games that face the same problem as well. Seriously, developers, don't be stupid. Oh, wait. I take that back. That mistake has already been done. But for future reference, I'm saying don't be stupid and do something like that. It's fine to have a choice mechanic, but it's not fine to have the player choose only to have the same outcome happen either way. The purpose behind these mechanics, I know some of you will argue, but in reality, and I think some people can agree with me on this, if you have a choice mechanic, you have to let something else happen if the player chooses something else rather than having the same thing happen no matter what the player chose. A lot of people play these types of games because they, want to see what happens if they choose the other choice. Because they already seen what happened when they played the first time and chose the other choice. What I'm trying to say is, don't let the player choose only to have the same thing happen. Either way. Then, that also in turn makes the player feel bad. Like, what? I thought I chose the other choice. Why is this still happening? This happened in my last playthrough. I didn't want this to happen again. Yeah. So, player's choice mechanic actually takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 will probably have to go towards customization. Now, I've seen a lot of games do this shit the wrong way, and I've seen a lot of games do this shit the right way. Like, for example, my little brother Marcelo, he plays Halo, and you can change the colors of the armor that you're wearing. Or like, take for instance, I know this is going towards mostly Kingdom Hearts here, but bear with me. Their version of customization was not changing the armor. All you got to do when you were in the Mirage Arena was change your color. That's it. Your armor suit looked exactly the same. Where I've seen other games take a different sort of approach. Like, say you unlock new armor designs. I am not even kidding. I've seen my little brother unlock so many armor designs in the Master Chief Collection, it is not even funny. Whereas in a series like Kingdom Hearts or maybe Call of Duty, I don't know how World of Warcraft handles it. I don't know if you can customize your armor or if you're stuck with the same. Either way, I don't care what it is. Their customization needs more options, is what I'm trying to say. Halo actually did a really good job with that. Also, being able to change colors to different pieces of your armor. Not like what Birth by Sleep did. Oh, if you pick a color, your whole armor is going to end up with that color. I am not even kidding. I'm sorry, but customization and the way that it's handled takes the number 4 spot on this list. Spot number 3. Oh boy. Here we go again with characters. I was going to originally place this at the number 4 spot, but this is the thing that's bugging the living crap out of me. It's not even funny. When you make a character in a story-driven game, like say, particularly an ally in Kingdom Hearts, and yeah, I'm talking about you, Donald. And I'm actually standing up for you. Hashtag Dolan Lives Matter. Anyways, Donald is... his field is magic, or per se, any other party member in any game, if their field is magic, or whatever type of field that they have, do not make them, completely useless. Do not make their AI stupid. Do not turn them into... dare I say it, a garbage character that nobody cares about. All because they are perceived as useless. Now, Square Enix, there is one thing you can do to fix this problem, and that is fix Donald's AI. Any developer, fix the party member's AI. Not playing on this part. I'm not even kidding. And yes, I know Donald isn't exactly the best character to, use an example towards this, but I'm serious. Swear, if you really want to make some of your fan base at least happy, fix Donald's AI. I am not playing here. That's another thing. I've seen games with smarter AI, such as Sly Cooper in the Thievius Raccoonus. I know that a lot of people might argue this, but okay, and yeah, a lot of people, I said I'm bad at racing. I get called a bad player, but if the racing AI actually is a lot smarter than the person you are controlling, then that becomes a problem with any AI, actually. But let's take this one itsy bitsy baby step at a time. Let's take the racer's AI, for instance. The other racers, here's me, controlling Murray in the 2 racing levels. The nitros are the only thing that's gonna speed me up. The AI knows this. Hell, they don't even use them. They just break them so I can't win the race. And if you ask me, that's a load of caca. Yeah. That is an incredible piece of cheat. Another incredible piece of cheat, while we're on the AI subject, is the crabs and chess level from the same game. The goal is to destroy 40 chests. Right? The goal is to get 40 chests, collect 40 chests, and by collect, I mean destroy. If I can't have them, no one can! Yeah. Again, the AI knows this, and the crabs are actually really smart. They are at max level. A lot of times I miss a crab that has a chest because I'm trying to get the other chest, and I end up losing the level anyway, because if just one crab takes a chest, you automatically lose the level. And do not even get me started on the different turret levels. Do not even get me started. It's ridiculous. Especially the turret level in Ms. Ruby's area. Hey, it's not my fault I can't see a cat ghost. Those things legitimately creep me out. It's not my fault I can't see a cat ghost coming behind me. Hell, it's not even considering that a lot of the different AI is a lot smarter than the character you're playing as. That's a pain. You know, but like I said, they knew how to handle smart AI. Sucker Punch knew how to handle smart AI. Now, Square, if only you could do the same, but to Donald. But seriously, don't make your AI, make your AI smart, but don't make it too smart to the point where the player cannot win. Like, okay, I'm about to go all Spy Kids 3D on this bitch. Level 5 is unwinnable. Don't do that shit. Alright? Don't make a level that is legit unwinnable. I'm not even kidding. I have actually come across those. Hell, I am currently stuck on one in Unchained Key. Yeah. But yeah, don't make AI smart, but don't make it too smart. And that takes the number 3 spot on this list. The number 2 spot is definitely, again, going back to characters. Kingdom Hearts' fan base has claimed Roxas, well, not exactly the fan base, technically. This is more towards like an IGN thing. Roxas is a garbage character that nobody cares about. Yeah. It's mainly, like I said, the reason that people hate on your characters is because, like, say they don't play very good. I'm not talking about just Roxas here. I'm talking about, like, a different multitude of characters. Hell, at first when I got recoded, Sora didn't control well. Yeah, Sly 2, Bentley doesn't control too well either. And neither does Murray at some points. And there are a lot of other games that I can list with characters that do not control well. But that would take up a lot of time, and I've already taken up enough time as it is. So yeah. Number 2 goes to garbage characters nobody cares about. Hell, if you guys gave your characters a better play style, then maybe people, you know, I literally, I don't know about you, but I actually like playing as Roxas. The only problem that I generally have is I can't change the gameplay, which irritated the living shit out of me when it came to Days. That leads back to the camera angles, the horrible swats sometimes. In fact, the gameplay is probably the reason why I can't fucking beat Leechgrave. Yep. I'm never replaying through that game again. Hell, there's a lot of games I will not replay through because of you making your characters so uncontrollable. Admittedly, I'm glad you're fixing that with Dream Drop Distance HD, but in all reality, you should have just made, instead of making HD movies, I know this is a lot of work, but you really could have taken this route, Square. You could have taken this route. You could have said, hey, let's fix these titles and fix the problems that were wrong and make them playable. Sure, making an HD movie I can understand, but at the same time, you had the chance and the potential to fix the problems that were placed in those particular games in the first place. You're gonna do that with Dream Drop Distance, but not with Recoded and Days. You didn't do it with Recoded or Days. Really, you could have taken the opportunity, Square. I guess we can combine two right here. Number 2 has garbage characters and missed opportunity. Now, actually, you know what? Let me say that number 1, the most irritating thing that game developers actually do end up doing, and it doesn't matter what game it is. I remember particularly one game that had this problem. Not only did it have glitches, like really bad, but it was rushed. I hate it when developers rush the game just to get it out there on time, only for the game to get horrible reviews because it was unfinished. Sure, it had a beginning and an end, but I remember one game in particular, Crash Twinsanity. You should have, I swear to God, Activision, you should have fixed the glitches and added more into the story before you release the game out. I hate it when developers do this. And to make matters worse, the content that was supposed to be in the game becomes an unlockable. Like, really? I could have fought this enemy if the game wasn't rushed? Really? I could have learned about this guy, and this guy if the game wasn't rushed? Yeah! Seriously? Activision, I know you're not the only ones that have this problem, but you are literally the only ones that I can think of right off the bat that have this issue. So yeah, guys, that was my top 10. Oh yeah, by the way, number 1 goes to worst. Like, don't rush the game. Don't rush it just to get it out the door and say that you can be proud of it, because I'm pretty damn sure that by now you are not proud of rushing Twinsanity. And if you still are, more power to you, Activision, but that was a horrible decision on your part. All of the other Crash Bandicoot games were polished just fine, you know, team racing, and just, I can't remember all of the titles that Activision actually had, but yeah. Oh, and not only does that take the #1 spot, but I was so close to almost putting this one on the list. So, here's a dishonorable mention. Do not, and I literally mean, okay, you know what? Before I move on to the dishonorable mention, there's one more thing I need to add. If you have to delay the date to fix up the game that you're making, that's fine. That's fine. But I've seen a lot of game developers do this shit the wrong way. I'm not even kidding. And that is why, I mean, Crash Twinsanity is still one of my favorite Crash games of all time. But it was rushed. I face palm. Yeah. Another thing that I was definitely going to add on this list, here we go, dishonorable mention / honorable mention, whatever mention you want to perceive this as. Whatever you guys do. Don't do this, please. I've seen game developers just put the what was it? I've seen them just advertise which, when the game is coming out, exactly when, and then the date gets here, and they explain why it wasn't on time. They don't explain why it wasn't on time at all. They just delayed it out of the blue for no apparent reason. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, but if you do not come out and explain, there's a lot of people that are going to get ticked off by this. So, yeah. So there's technically 11 things here, but one of them is a dishonorable mention. But you guys know the drill. Comment, rate, subscribe to become a Keyblade wielder, as well as a member of the Cooper Gang. And stay awesome as usual. Bye.